Hi, being recorded. Welcome to week 2, where we're going to do the Battle of Hoth. So, episode 5, right? Yes, episode 5. So, we have the Empire Strikes Back. So, we did 2 vehicles from A New Hope when they blew up the Death Star. Today, we're doing 2 vehicles from the very beginning of the Empire Strikes Back. So, we're going to start today with, I believe it's the T-47 Airspeeder. Yes, which is the airspeeder that Luke Skywalker and the other rebel flyers used to take down the AT-ATs on Hoth. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm doing this one from scratch. I have never drawn this before. So we're going to continue to use our skills to put this together. So let me go ahead and pin the screen here. Okay, now let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see the picture we're looking at together. And you can ignore the ATST because that is not this week. They're just on the same picture here. Okay. Now I'm sharing my screen. Here we go. Okay, so this is what we've got today. It's kind of a fuzzy picture, but this is what we're going to be drawing, okay? So again, ignore the ATST. That will be when we draw ENDOR. But today we've got the T-47. So what I want to look at today, I want to focus on the angle that it's flying at, because once again, this ship is very symmetrical. So when we're thinking symmetrical, it means it's the same on both sides. So obviously at this angle, it's not going to be the same on both sides, but you've got a turret, it's got the same curved formations here. But again, the main thing that I want to focus on today is getting these angles right, which is going to determine what else we're going to do. So I've got a line here as well. So that's going to, so those turrets are even with that front. The back turrets are even with the back of the cockpit here. So today we're looking at perpendicular. So the turrets are parallel. Everything else is perpendicular, which means it is an intersection. Okay, so let's look at that. We're going to look at this frame right here. Okay, I'm not going to use my ruler to measure as much today. We're going to try to eye it as much as we can and see what we come up with. So again, I have my trusty pink eraser, whatever eraser you have. I have my pencil with my little eraser. I've got my pencil sharpener and a ruler along with my paper. And again, I just use regular printer paper, cheap computer paper. For a lot of drawing, I find that to be the most cost efficient, especially when we're learning. Nice sharpened pencil. So I can get a nice fine line here. All right, so let me try to get those angles in here real fast. Whatever angle I draw this at is what angle it's going to have to remain. So bouncing back to my reference photo, you don't need to go ahead and get out a, you don't have to get out an angle ruler, but if you want to, that is totally okay. I'm going to go with this angle. So I just held it up to my computer screen, got it about this much. So I'm going to make a line there. Sorry if you guys can barely see that line. I want it to be nice and light. So if I look at the turrets on this again, Sorry, I'm just eyeing it one more time here. They actually are not as perpendicular in the picture as I would like them to be. So I'm going to angle one out a little bit. So for example, let me show you. For example, parallel, right? The two are right next to each other. Whereas this ship is more kind of coming out a little bit. So almost like a rhombus type shape. It's not a perfect rectangle. This is a very exaggerated. It's more like this. So we can angle it out just a tad. I don't have to erase those. Again, this is just, you know, we're just practicing here. All right. So I'm going to darken up my first line so you guys can see that. I'm not drawing for myself. I'm drawing for you, and it can always be erased. Okay. So I'm going to define my next line just, we'll say about there. And I'm going to tilt it out just a tad. Not too much, but look at the picture. Yeah, not too much. About there. All right. So very close to perpendicular, but not perfectly so. Okay. Moving back. So once I've got this, I'm going to define the overall shape. So I've got a few shapes so that I can draw the perpendicular lines. The first being the nose. So actually, before I do that, I am going to actually draw a line right down the middle here. Draw a line down the middle just so I can tell where I'm going. I left a little more over here, but all right. So from this line, I'm going to curve, make a curved nose. Looking at my reference photo and I can't see what I'm drawing for you all, so bear with me just one moment. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not drawing off the screen. So I've got the little nose here. Okay. Get my ruler. And I'm going to make it perpendicular, which means straight across with the other lines. A nice intersection. Okay. A nice intersection. I'm going to make a couple of these. They don't have to be perfectly in the right place. I just want to see the angle for which I am drawing. Okay, so I've got some perpendicular lines here. It's my grid. So we're not working as much with triangles on this one as we are with rectangles, okay? And this actually might be a little easier. So let's bring out the wing here. We know our turret's going to be right here for one. So the wing, again, I am doing a lot of eyeing on this one. I want you to stretch yourself. Look at the picture more than you look at anything else. Okay. And this one's coming in about a nice sharp angle there. Okay. From here, I hold my breath while I'm drawing, so I gotta let it out. This line here for the cockpit, I'm gonna try to make it even with my perpendiculars. It's going to connect from this corner down and from this corner down. So now we have front part of the nose here. Let's go ahead and make the cockpit. Since we have our X right here, I know I have to stay within that line. And actually, I think I made that pretty close to the right spot. Lucky me. So I'm going to come in with this, make that come into the box here. Okay. I might actually want that up a tad bit more. So as I look at my specimen here that I'm drawing, I am making adjustments as necessary if my angles aren't exactly right. This guy's coming back. Okay. What I'm going to do, since I'm not 100% sure how far back this is going to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the windows before I make it go back too far. That way I can be sure to get it the right length instead of figuring that out when I start drawing the windows and realize there's way too much room or not enough room. So I've got front cockpit here. I've got because this ship has somebody in the front and it has somebody in the back. And obviously you guys remember that, right? So, okay. Let's make that one spot on too, huh? I'm going to make this one right along the line. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make the little windows here on the side. I'm not going to color them in. We'll save that for the shading portion. But we will just draw in the windows here. There's one. And you've got this one right in the middle. That's actually a lot skinnier. Please don't copy everything I do. I want you guys to be looking at the picture as well. I very well could get an angle wrong or anything like that. And then if you guys are following me like sheep, which I would hope that you're not, then you can correct that on your end. If you're not looking at the reference photo, I highly encourage you to have it pulled up. If you just want to follow along with me, that's fine, but I do encourage you to try to do this on your own as well. Simply following a YouTube video on a how-to drawing is not going to teach you how to draw as much as actually drawing. So you guys need to get out there and actually draw for yourselves. That's a scary thing, I know, but you have to do it. It must needs be done. Okay. So I have my windows. This is already treating me a little wonky here. So I'm going to straighten some things out up here. I actually realized that this line is pretty much the same back and forth. So which makes this a little bit bigger, which is what I wanted. Drawing is a lot of trial and error. If you do watch a lot of YouTube videos, you'll notice that they just have it, right? They just have it down to a science and they draw it. But chances are they've drawn that so many times, they just look like a pro. And then you're sit here looking like, man, I'll never be able to do that. Well, it takes time to draw well. And it takes trial and error. So don't beat yourself up because you can't draw like the people on YouTube. They've had plenty of time to practice, and if you have plenty of time to practice, you will very soon draw like them as well. So that's the way I feel about it. Okay. We've got the back here. So our back is going about this far. My squares are not at a great angle. So I'm going to erase them, and I'm going to put them in one more time with just a tad bit of an angle here. Hope you guys brought your good erasers. All right. Scratching that guy in there. There we go. So now this was too long, see? I originally was going to put. So there we go for that. We've got our front window here. Might as well put that on while I'm at it, right? So yeah, back to the YouTube thing. Getting your passion from YouTube and being like, man, I wish I could draw like this. There's no problem with that. Getting your inspiration from YouTube, there's no problem with that. The issue is when it becomes a crutch for you. Okay? When it becomes to the point that you literally can't draw anything without watching a YouTube video first. Okay? There has to come a point in your artistic journey where you step away from YouTube and do it on your own. Okay? And again, the more you do that, the better you'll get. Okay? Some of you may have just been, drawing on your own forever, and that's awesome. I'm mostly talking to those who I speak with on a regular basis who don't think that they can do it on their own or have a lot of anxiety about doing it on their own. Glad I have that line because I about made that at a really weird angle that it did not need to be. All right, there's a lot of dark lines here too, which just like in our last drawing will be softened up during the shading process. But right now, we're just doing the basic line drawing. Okay. That way we can look at it, and if anything needs to be corrected, it can be corrected in shading. All right, there we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So I've got the front. We've got a wing coming out here. So the question is, where does this wing start to come up? So on my reference photo, the wing starts to come up. If I were to draw another parallel line here, the wing is going to start to come up about mid-box here. Let's say about right there. So let's do it. So what that means is this part of my wing, if I did it that way, it's going to be all the way out here in left field. And just from my eye, I can already tell that that's way too far out, okay? So I'm going to keep this line here, even though I know it's wrong. And I'm going to draw the correct line, okay? For most things to be balanced, usually the body, it's got the same width from the body to whatever we're doing as far as a wing. So that's why I've defined this part right here. Okay, so my body is this big, so I just twist that to the side and I get around right there. So that's what I'm going to go for. And now I'm just going to draw a line from there to there. Okay, once I get my line correct, then I am free to erase the bad line. Okay. See, I think that already looks awesome. That already looks so much better. Okay, so like we said, from this point, we're going to go down a little past the body. And I'm going to pop on back just a tiny bit. All right. You really can't see the pop out too much on the other side. And actually, if I were to look at that pop out, it's over here on this side, about right there. So if you'd like to, you can just kind of draw that angle like that. Sorry, from this side about to there or so, and then just come back because we're going to cover that up. So I'm just going to draw really lightly there. All right, awesome. We've got a lot going on here, but we have made good headway. Okay. Let's see, how long have we been going? We have gone for 25 minutes. Good, right on schedule. Almost finished. Let's go ahead and draw a few more details in. And then we'll be finished with this part. So I'm going to erase some lines on the nose here. Go ahead and draw in the turrets. So I erased the lines here. It's like a rectangle here. It's the colored one. There's also another window on top here. And there's not one on the back, so I'm going to erase the line on the back. Get some of these lines out of here. Even out this part here so it's even across. Okay. There is a line going back like this. So draw that on there. That's not actually pointed, so I'm going to get rid of that sharp point on the window there. It's random. Sorry. Okay. There is the turret holder. Coming back. Let's already have this line here. I'm just gonna use it. The turret is right down the center of this wing. Coming back along this line. Okay. So which means this turret holder is gonna curve around that. A little curve. Hold it on there. Coming across the bottom. Okay. Concentrating. Just looking at each little shape. Each little shape, one at a time. One shape at a time. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. Ding. Okay. So this has got some depth to it, so I'm just going to trace that around and meet him on the other side. Scratching some things here. Okay, so the turret is going to go back. So I did draw this. So again, one shape at a time. Okay, so the next part is going to be connecting with this, and it's going to be very similar to this shape. Okay, see how it's like almost like a domed bridge on its side, you know, like it's just holding it on there. So you've got another one of those right here, but coming down the wing, then coming out here, coming around that turret, and then back down. So back down sharply. Okay. Our circular section here coming out. I'm going to turn it to the side so I can make sure this doesn't look wonky. Make sure I have a good shape. Okay. Might be a little longer than what's in the picture, but I'm totally okay with it. Okay. Most of this inside is going to be shaded, so I'm just going to leave it be for now. Come back down with this. And it's coming along the back side of this. It's actually, this kind of sticks out above, but it helps me fix the angle on this too. Because I was not making it even with this line here, and that's what that line was for, to make sure we make it even. I thought that this little box was kind of squished in there, so now it's fixed too. So this is just going to go a little bit behind, coming out on the other side, and straight, coming in. All right, just tweaking now. a little bit more distance than I would have cared for, but okay. Since I still have this line, I'm still going to make it going out because got the engine that it's connected to as well. That connects to the wing that comes out, comes across here, all the way to the other side. So let's erase some of these lines since we do not need them anymore. Try to straighten out these lines here. So got this one coming across. Okay. Straighten this up. Get perpendicular with this line. So it's going to be coming perpendicular. See the X? Big, dark X where you can see it? Okay. So it's coming perpendicular here. And then it's just going to curve in. All right. It's curving around. Okay. There we go. Now this guy came across. I'm going to darken these lines before I erase the ruler lines. So I don't accidentally erase a line I don't want to. Okay, let's erase some of the lines on this side and have a good look at it. Let's see how it is looking. Erase them. I'll need to draw some back in because I erased a little too much. That's okay. All right. Draw this back in there. Draw this back in there. Okay. There we go. I like it. All right. Now up here. It's good so far. Up here, we've got the little engine coming out. So just gonna make that, and then we should be okay with this side. We'll add more details with the shading. Okay. Okay. Coming over here, we need to make a line for our turret, and we basically already have it here, right? So we drew that in the beginning, our turret coming out. I'm going to go ahead and start with the little engine part over here. Coming out right there. There's also a part coming out right here along this line, sticking out the back, as well as a bunch of other random things sticking out the back. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw this last turret here. The wing's gonna go down behind. Okay, so this one, I'm going to draw the circle, but obviously I'm not going to keep the whole circle there. Conical coming down to, I want it to be symmetrical. So even if it doesn't look exactly like the picture, I want it to look like the other side. So at this point, it's more important to finish the picture. So now we're in here, folks. Okay. Coming across, we've got a little piece here, another piece here. So again, making it symmetrical, same on one side as the other side. And then of course you've got, which is actually not right here, actually. I'm going to erase all that right there and put that back in. It's a little messy. Okay. Shell that goes over this one, we want to keep it even with the other side. It's like coming in together. Okay, so then it's coming out. And this one is actually coming out a little past the nose, which means I'm going to angle in this a little bit. Okay, so the turret is coming past it just like it looks on here. And a little past. And you can actually see the gun on this bad boy. As on the other side, you didn't see it as much. All right, so now let's define the shaft. Erase. I'm sorry, sharpen. Try to get a nice sharp line. All right. Nice. That wing coming out. The shading again is it's really going to define this, but we at least have our line drawing. It does not look as 3D as it we would like it to, simply because that's going to take shading. But we do have T-47 Airspeeder ready for attack, defense. Finding my outside lines. Nice. And the shading will come next. So I will see you guys in the next video.